excited to share with you some updates. And as usual, we're going to start with quick introductions for everybody in this meeting today. So let me just get this agenda so everyone knows what's going to happen today. We're going to have, as I said, introductions. Then we're going to have some updates from Alex. We are happy that John is going to be joining us today. He might be a little bit late and may need to leave a little bit earlier because he has another meeting. And then I'm going to be showing you some thankful slides for all of you for being with us during this committee so far. And then we're going to hear some great updates from Arne as well. Okay, so if you don't mind, we can get started with our introductions, and I'm going to ask Kara to start.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kara Kaplan. I'm with Permobile in the role of regulatory science. My background is in engineering, and I chair the U.S. Standards Committee for Wheelchair and Related Seating, and I'm active in numerous wheelchair ISO committees as well as the SEN work for European wheelchair standards. Nice to see all of you.
Thank you, Kara. Can we continue with Isabel?
Hi, everyone. I'm Isabel. I'm a biomedical engineer, and I mostly do research in biomedical engineering, wheelchair cushions, assistive technology, and anything related to technology with people with disabilities. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we continue with Trisha, please?
Hello, I'm Trisha Karg, and I'm a professor at the University of Pittsburgh, Department of Rehab Science and Technology, and have spent time doing clinical research over the years, as well as development and application of testing of standards to test assistive technology, primarily in wheelchairs and seating, wheelchair transportation. I work along with Kara with RESNA and ISO initiatives in those areas. Thanks.
Thank you, Trisha. Can we continue with Keith?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Keith Herr. I'm Director of Manufacturing at Free Wheelchair Mission, and we provide wheelchairs to those in need in third world countries. Thank you.
Thank you. Bill, can we go with you next?
Sure. I'm Bill Ammer. I operate Ammer Consulting. I'm a test facility here in the United States. I'm also involved in the ISO and RESNA wheelchair standards groups, along with Trisha and Kara. And I've been doing this about 25 years now, so thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Can we go next with Stephen Peters?
Hi, I'm Stephen Peters. I'm with Beneficial Designs. We're also a test lab in the US. We're ISO 17025 accredited to perform ISO 7176 testing, as well as RESNA testing, EN 12183, EN 12184. I've been with Beneficial Designs for close to 17 years. I'm filling in for Peter today. He's on a separate meeting right now.
Thank you. Well, it's great to see you.
You as well.
And Holly? I think I saw you. Yes, I did.
Holly Wilson-Jenny. I am a recent grad at University of Pittsburgh. I got my PhD in rehab science and technology, focusing on rolling resistance and validating and translating a test method.
Thank you, Holly. Alex, I think that I am missing introducing you.
No problem. Hello, everyone. I'm Alex Kamadu. I'm the Executive Director of ISWP. I've been in the role for the past 2 years, and I'm based here in Cape Town in South Africa. I'm an occupational therapist by background and have got quite extensive experience working as a clinician, wheelchair service manager, commissioner of services, so across the whole health sector. And yeah, really pleased to meet some of you for the first time and to see some old faces. Thanks.
Thank you, Alex. Can we continue with Arne, please?
Absolutely. So good day, basically, morning, evening, doesn't really matter. I'm Arne. Just like Alex, I'm by background, I'm an occupational therapist. I've been in clinical practice for about 14 years before joining the industry, now also already 10 years ago. I've been in several roles, but my current role is the Vice President of Scientific and Medical Affairs team within Permobil.
Thank you. And if I'm missing someone, please let me know. I'm double checking. Oh, yay, look, we got Don.
Sorry,
just joined
Steph, Don. Yeah, Don's just joined.
Hi, Don. We are just doing some introductions and you came here at the right time. Would you like to introduce yourself to the group?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if Keith mentioned it, but we work together. I'm Free Wheelchair Mission founder, and we're busy providing wheelchairs for people in developing countries, like most of the people on this call. Trying to do our best.
Thank you, Don. Well, my name is Stephanie Vasquez, and I work at the University of Pittsburgh and also at the UPMC Center for Assistive Technology. And I've been doing some research, some engineering, and some clinical services, as well as teaching at Pitt. And I've been working with ISWP for several years now. I think it's 5 now, or a little bit more maybe. But part of that, I've been working with you guys on the ISWP working group, a standards working group that now is the Product Quality and Reliability Committee. And we got a few more people, so I'm just going to also invite you to introduce yourselves. You're not late to the game. We are just talking about each other. So, Shauna, would you like to introduce yourself to the group?
Hi, yes. Hi, everybody. It's Shona here from Cape Town, South Africa. We design and manufacture a range of pediatric posture support devices and have a test laboratory which we've set up for ISO, and we're now trying to expand that to include more novel tests. So yeah, my passion is really around pediatric seating and preventing secondary health complications.
Thank you, Shauna. Kyoki, would you like to introduce yourself? You're muted, just in case.
There we go. That should be better. I work with participant-assisted products. We make wheelchairs and cushions. Our manufacturing is in China, and we design in California.
So, thank you. Well, with those, then I'm just going to pass it to Alex. I'm going to share my screen. Alex, if you want, I can go over slides as you tell me to switch. Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Stephanie. And as always, it's really great to see such a diverse group of people in this meeting. I love the diversity of thought and the energy that we get from this group of people. It's been a very busy year for ISWP, and I think as we come to the end of the year, it's a time for reflection for all of us. It's a time to also look forward, which is part of what I will present shortly about the strategic plan. But I thought it would be really important to start with sort of the evolution. So as I mentioned in my introduction, I've been with ISWP for the past 2 years, but this year was a year of many firsts for us. So we had our first election of the new 15-member board that we have. We have our first elected chair, so Silvana Contepomi. We've also had our very first AGM, and we've also introduced a new learning management system and a new website. And we've also established the new committee structures. And I'm also very pleased to say that hot off the press, but just last week, our board voted on a strategic plan that we've been working on for the past 8 months, which has been led under the leadership of Silvana Contepomi and the executive committee. I'm just going to cover the objectives today, and Arne is going to provide a little bit more context in terms of the objectives, particularly the last objective around the improvement of appropriate wheelchair production, supply, and maintenance. But what you see in front of you are the objectives, which are the goals that inspire and set the direction for ISWP. And by the way, next year we celebrate 10 years, so a decade in existence, which is quite a big thing, and we've got lots of plans to celebrate this milestone for ISWP. But having this newly designed and signed off strategic plan by the board sets the direction of travel for ISWP as we move forward. And it's really quite important for us to have this validated and accepted by our community in the sector as we move forward. So it's a very systematic approach, starting at the macro level. So the first objective is around advocating for integrated wheelchair provision in national health and social care systems. As we all know that in many countries, particularly low-income countries, wheelchair provision is very patchy and not very well integrated into health systems. And even in more developed countries, the provision of wheelchairs can be very unequal in certain places, depending on where you are in the country. The second objective is around building and sustaining strategic partnerships. So ISWP has worked really hard with the help of many of you here in this meeting to actually build and develop strategic partners with many of the partners working in the international sector and in many of the countries. And so a lot more work needs to go into building these strategic partnerships. And that's the second objective that we'll be working on. So the third objective is very important for us because ISWP has been responsible for developing many products that are related to training. And we felt it was really important to optimize and promote education, training, and certification within the wheelchair sector. As you know, one of the fundamental pillars of ISWP is about trying to professionalize the sector through the certification program that we've developed. But we also recognize that we need to take stock of the various products and to also look at how we can optimize and promote these. The fourth objective is very important to me and something that I feel we have been doing, but we can do better. And this is about embedding the lived experiences of wheelchair users and their support circles in all our work. And this basically means that in everything that we do, we need to put wheelchair users and their support circles, this can be family members or carers, at the center of what we do, and making sure that we gather their insights in terms of how we design the pieces of work. And finally, the last objective is to support and advocate for the improvement of appropriate wheelchair production, supply and maintenance. And as I mentioned, Arne will unpack this a little bit more. So these are just the objectives that you see. We also have key results, which are the indicators that will help us determine how we will achieve the objectives. And we also have key results. So we've used a very comprehensive framework in order to develop the strategic plan. So all that you see in front of you, the objectives that the board has signed off on, and the executive committee has signed off on the key results. And so there's a whole plan and a work plan and indicators and an M&E framework that goes behind the strategic plan. So we will be doing a soft launch early in the year, but in line with our official 10-year celebration in March, as well as with International Wheelchair Day, we hope to make a very impressive official launch of the strategic plan as we move forward. Next slide, please. So just some updates in terms of advocacy. We're very pleased to say that International Wheelchair Day campaign that I mentioned at the last meeting is moving very swiftly along. On the right-hand side of the slide, we've developed, or the committee responsible for this, which is the Advocacy Committee, has developed a logo, as you can see, in line with, they went through a very significant process to design and come up with colors and the image that you see. And this is going to be the logo for International Wheelchair Day, which is celebrated on 1st of March every year. Sadly, Steve Wilkinson, who is the founder of International Wheelchair Day, passed away earlier this year. and ISWP will be honoring his legacy, but hosting International Wheelchair Day on our website. The committee has lots of plans in terms of how they're going to roll out the campaign, including having a lot of videos celebrating the impact of wheelchair professionals in delivering appropriate wheelchairs to individuals who require it, but also amplifying the need of wheelchair users globally. So we have quite a significant campaign that's going to be rolled out. So from the beginning of the year, this will start to be rolled out. ISWP, together with ISPO, has been invited to have a wheelchair side event at the GATE Summit in May next year, with a focus on wheelchair provision for the aging population. And we've been working together with the WHO and ISPO about the design and the rollout of this wheelchair side event. For those who don't know, the GATE Summit is a 2 or 3 day event hosted by the WHO. There are some areas, focus areas that they're going to be looking at. One of those is around provision of assistive technology for the aging population. We'll also be looking at wheelchair provision or assistive technology provision in terms of the humanitarian crises that we are facing, and also about disruptive technologies. So this is going to be a really important event for ISWP, because it is a huge problem that we are facing in terms of wheelchair provision for the aging population globally. And so we are using this as an opportunity to catapult some of the focus areas for that. ISWP is very much involved in the World Rehabilitation Alliance, also hosted by the WHO, and we are leading a subcommittee around the workforce development. Another big thing that we are working on is the chapter model mapping. So we have the advocacy committee that's working extensively around mapping the various chapter models that association organizations have globally, because we want to roll out a similar program for ISWP. As you all know, we're a small team. We're actually only 4 team members that are a part of ISWP, but we obviously work with many of you, many volunteers like you on this call today. And so we are looking at how we can expand and amplify the work that we do through a chapter model. So in the coming years, part of the strategy that we've developed is to roll out a chapter model that is able to amplify the work that we need to do. We're also heavily involved with ISPO in the design of a wheelchair track. It's the first of a kind. And next year in Sweden, we will be hosting some events and some talks and panel discussions around wheelchair provision. Like I say, it's the first of its kind for ISPO. The focus is obviously on orthotics and prosthetics predominantly. But this year we've been invited to really provide a lot of support in terms of wheelchair provision. In terms of resource mobilization, we had our very first donation drive in terms of global giving in line with International Wheelchair Day, early December. And we're also involved in collaborative discussions with GATO around how we can work with other member associations to provide our members with further benefits by being members of ISWP. Next slide, please. So some other updates in terms of training and certification. We were very pleased to be awarded a tender in terms of a joint venture that we applied together with ISWP, and Shauna, who's on this call, and her team, together with the ISWP team, worked tirelessly to respond to this tender in order to provide intermediate training to about 25 colleagues in Zimbabwe, which is a neighboring country to South Africa. And as we move forward with ISWP, we are looking at other models of how ISWP can roll out training. So currently, we either organize training through arranging for consultants to travel to countries, sometimes at great cost, or individuals undertake the online training that we provide. But this is a new model of provision where we are trying to partner with training organizations or entities, and we want to then grandfather in the ISWP certification. So it's a really good model, and we want to then write this up as a case study and probably do a publication on that. Another great initiative is we're working with the Jomo Kenyatta University in Kenya, where we've been approached to provide the online training or access to the online training for 140 students who will undertake the certification. So it's the first of its kind as well. And we're very excited about this collaboration with the university. Again, we will write this up as a case study and look to see whether this is a model that we can scale up and roll out in other countries. In terms of membership, we hosted a membership webinar a few weeks ago, and it was on November 20th. And we had just over 40 participants who came to hear about the various membership categories that we've introduced. For those who weren't on the call or have not heard about it, moving forward, ISWP has to become less reliant on grant funding. So we have looked at other income streams that we can try and mobilize resources, and we've introduced membership dues with a free membership for the duration of 2024, but come January 2025, members will actually have to pay membership fees based on income setting. And so during this membership webinar, we actually gave members the opportunity to have a Q&A session, but we also walked them through the various membership benefits, as well as how to navigate through the new and improved learning management system. So we haven't got it right as yet. There are some things that the IT team are still working on, and we are improving the navigation as we speak. But we do believe that this new and improved website and learning management system will help with memberships and growing the membership base. We currently have just over 11,500 members. And the categories that most people have taken up are individual membership, but we're trying to grow the organizational membership base as well. And of course, there will be an email campaign going out to members on December 13th. Actually, that date has changed. It will probably be a bit later. And just telling members about the process to follow in terms of making sure they are in good standing in order to remain on our membership base. And all board and committee members must be in good standing in order to remain part of the various committees and the board as well. Next slide, please. Just a few photos from the various activities we've been doing in this last quarter. I was together with my colleague Kritika Kandaval. We had the opportunity to present on wheelchair seating, a little bit of skills development and policy development around wheelchair provision for the aging at the Healthcare and Rehabilitation Exhibition in Japan. We made lots of contacts there, and there's a lot of work to be done. Japan has, as many of you know, a very aging population, more so than a lot of other countries across the globe. And so they're looking to ISWP and other entities to try and help them to deal with the demand, current demand and the future demand as well. One of our board members, Justin Gisathis, represented ISWP at the CREATE conference in India, and he provided an overview of ISWP. And we also had another two board members, David Constantine and Marie Abu Saab, who attended the very first Arab ISPO Congress in Jordan. And Marie Abu Saab was able to provide an overview of ISWP and our training and certification. And we are working very hard with our board. We have a 15-member board to really sustain and build new partnerships. And we do this through attending all these various conferences. And that is how we will develop a memorandum of understandings and also look at how we can amplify our work. My colleague Beth Sheehan was also at the Assistive Technology conference in Brisbane in November time, and she presented the poster which is the last photo, on the work that we've done in the Ukraine, which was a partnership we had with the WHO around skilling the workforce in terms of basic and intermediate training and certification. So we've got quite a comprehensive program of work with the Ukraine and the WHO to skill up their workforce during this crisis that they find themselves in. There have been a few other conferences and events, but in the interest of time, I will pause and see if there are any comments or queries or questions. Thanks, Stephanie.
Thank you, Alex. And it's always great to hear everything that's going on at ISWP and all the conferences that you're attending. Any questions or comments for Alex? No? Okay, well, I think that John may have not been able to join us today. I cannot see the participant list, but I have the feeling I have not seen his notification yet. But if someone can correct me if I'm wrong, let me double check here.
No, John is actually hasn't arrived yet.
Okay, well, I just wanted to give him the opportunity to come back to this meeting because I know he has been a fundamental person who is actually the co-founder of ISWP and was one of the persons with the idea of starting the ISWP Standards Working Group, and was very supportive of the evolution of how the working group moved into testing centers and how we later merged. So I just wanted to appreciate him for that, but unfortunately he was not able to join us. So I'm just going to give you a quick summary and how this has all started with us. So you're going to see a few slides just running by themselves. That's completely okay. We started with a kickoff meeting in 2021, and we've had multiple presenters, and I just wanted to thank every single one of you for not just only presenting, but also for spending time with us, discussing everything that you know, your expertise, and also for the attendees who have been joining us here to put your input out there to discuss many of these interesting topics. And now that we're going to be moving forward to a new era of this committee, I wanted to appreciate all the input that you've had and everything that you've done for this group, because you've been also very supportive for me. And now this is just a quick thank you for everyone who has joined our meetings. And I hope that you don't get mad because I didn't find the best photo of you. I really tried my best, but I know that I am not a good photographer, and apparently I'm also not the best screenshotter here. But I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for joining us so far in this committee. And now with that, Arne, it's all yours. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen now.
Well, thanks a lot, Stephanie. It's a very nice gesture of you, first of all, to thank the group. But I think if I can speak in name of the group, I think it's also very appropriate to thank you for driving basically this group for the past 3.5 years, and all the work that you have done to pull an agenda together. So I think it's more than appropriate to share the appreciation basically for the work that you have done.
Thank you. But honestly, it's all because of everyone who has supported, because none of these meetings would have been possible without them. So I really thank everyone too. Thank you, Arne.
Okay, so I wanted to basically, and allow me to share my screen. I wanted to also share some more insights, as Alex already stressed during his part. A little bit more insights basically on the strategic plan. As Alex mentioned, next year it's the 10-year celebration of the organization. And with this, I know Alex is also planning to present the full strategic plan into a much more detailed extent. So I absolutely don't want to steal his thunder. But I thought mainly this slide was very appropriate actually to use for our meeting today, because today marks also a moment where the group will continue, and I think that's something that we shared already in the previous meeting. This group will continue to exist because we do very much appreciate this as a platform for interaction and knowledge exchange and networking. But when an organization drives also a strategic agenda, it is also important to basically ensure that we break down the group into a workable size that we can drive a strategic agenda on this committee level. So if we look into the fifth objective of the International Society of Wheelchair Professionals, that's where we support and remark the and advocate, because that's one of the points that we discussed also last week during the board meeting, that we basically not only should support the improvement of appropriate wheelchair production, supply and maintenance, but that we should advocate as an organization for this as well. What are the key results that we're aiming for? It's first of all to track the participant knowledge transfer during the ISP-led online learning events, but also to develop at least 3 resources on appropriate wheelchair production, supply and maintenance. And this will translate, or those key results should translate themselves in some examples of key activities where we want to develop pre and post events questions to check participant knowledge transfer, to develop a list of topics to be covered and host at least 2 online events annually. And then within the other domain, or for the other key results, we should aim for developing a standard process for reuse of wheelchair products and components, develop a position statement on the or of the reuse of wheelchairs and accessories, and develop a method to track and assess impact on the sector. Now, if we look basically into this core group that is being composed, and the first meeting of that core group is scheduled for next week, there's, let's say, there will be a sort of a phased approach where we aim, first of all, to create a large knowledge base, where we will look into what are the typical standards that do exist today in the seated mobility industry, and which countries apply which standards or put certain standards or testing against standards as a requirement. I think it's really important, especially thinking back into the two, or thinking towards the 2 groups where we want to work with the core group, but still maintain this platform for exchange and networking. This knowledge base should create and facilitate getting access to all range, or a full range of testing, and knowing and understanding why they have been used or how they have been driving market access for products and users. Secondly, and that's basically then more towards the lesser, or let's say middle and lesser resourced countries, is that we then should look into, okay, but from what standards can these countries benefit, or what standards should need amendments or the creation of a new standard to be workable within the specific environment of a middle or lesser resourced country. And thinking back basically on the reuse of wheelchairs and where wheelchairs are shipped towards those type of countries, what we of all time should avoid is basically that we create those huge wheelchair dumps with wheelchairs that are basically no longer usable in, let's say, better resourced countries. Well, if they're no longer usable for the users in those countries, then the likelihood that they're going to be usable in middle or lesser resource countries is very low. So we need to understand basically to what standards we can apply for reuse of wheelchair products and components to ensure the middle or lesser resource countries in front of a second challenge besides their disability, and that's the fact that they don't have access to a wheelchair that basically fits their needs and that can be serviced also with the right components. So the ambition of the core group is, first of all, and next week's meeting is going to be very important for this. The ambition of this core group is, first of all, to create this knowledge base, and then secondly, to apply it more to the middle and lesser resource countries. But then secondly, also further determining the strategic agenda where this committee should be heading. I for now will stop here, and probably there are questions from the group. Not really. Let me just check the chat because I see there's notification. Oh, no, okay. It's John that already sent a very early Christmas message. So that's basically the information that I wanted to share so far regarding the renewed setup of the Product Quality and Reliability Committee. Feel free to reach out over email if you have still an interest for participating. We have composed a group, but if you feel that with the information I provided you today, that you could be a great contributor to this team, then definitely reach out to me. And then I think that's about my part for today, Stephanie.
Thank you, Arne. And I think that this is going to be a short meeting for us today. I really, again, thank everyone. And I think it's time to say happy holidays, happy new year, and looking forward to seeing you again. And I see Alex has a comment.
Thank you, Arne, and thank you. Yeah, you thought you were getting away early, and then I snuck in there. I also just wanted to take this moment to show my appreciation on behalf of ISWP for Stephanie. Watching those that slides and the evolution and the amount of time and effort that you've taken to dedicate towards developing this committee and working with everyone and developing the relationships has been astounding. I know it's not goodbye. You're going to be part of the smaller committee as we move forward. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for your leadership and your guidance and steering this committee. I think it is a huge success. And it is an evolution, as we have said, and I think that this knowledge exchange platform is part of your legacy as well. So I think well done to you as well. I just want to say thank you so much from the ISWP family.
Thank you, Alex. And also thank you for ISWP for giving me the opportunity to do this. It's been really fun to get to know everyone here.
Great. I'm really looking forward to continuing to be involved. So wishing you all some downtime, and hopefully we'll pick up again soon.
There's you, Shauna, who's still at the office at 8 o'clock.
Oh, you caught me out. You know my background. Yes, I'm still at the office.
Go home.
I will. All right.
Have a good holiday, everyone.
Have a good one.
Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
Happy holidays.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Happy holidays.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.